What's up, guys? Welcome to Reseller's Life. This is part of my Reseller Spotlight series where I interview my favorite resellers and ask them how they actually plan their day. So, like real life, what's it actually look like when you were doing this? So, thank you, Tiffany and Hugo, for spending some time with me today. Let's start off with where people can find you online and where you guys live.
So we are from Los Angeles, California, and you can find us across all platforms as Sell Quick, Ship Quick.
Yeah, you can find us on Instagram, YouTube. We even have a podcast
And Facebook.
and even TikTok.
Amazing. So, let's talk about LA. What's great about living there when it comes to reselling and what sucks about it?
I think personally, reselling is a part-time, and so having the amount of stores available to us in every direction
Mm-hmm.
helps with this as a part-time job. So we run into a thrift store that's 5 minutes from our day job.
Yeah, one of our other day jobs.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah, and then also the diversity of stuff we get to find, thankfully. I mean, because it's such a concentrated group of people, and LA it's a big city.
Mm-hmm.
We never find empty thrift stores, which is good.
yeah, we almost always leave a thrift store with something, whether it's a hard good or clothes, like what's behind us.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
There's usually probably an over excess of donations sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
And, being a part of the Instagram community, we can see how the prices are inflated in certain cities and smaller cities at that, where we will find really good items for really low price.
Gotcha. Yeah, that's important to recognize. Even in the same city, there are
Yeah.
different pockets of different pricing. Anything bad about LA?
I think that it's it's a pretty full city of resellers, whether we know them or not.
Mm-hmm.
So, for example, like shopping at the bins,
Mm-hmm.
our bins are ridiculous.
Mm-hmm.
It's elbow to elbow. When the shoes come out, it sounds like the Thunderdome.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, literally. I mean, or the books, because the bins here, I think they only change the books bin like once or twice a day.
Yeah. So I do think that there is heavy competition,
Mm-hmm.
especially like in hard goods. Hard goods is not full of gems as much as you would think.
Yeah, I mean, because between us, I do the hard goods, so electronics, home appliances, things like that, and I'll go through and check. And it's more common that I'll go in and find little to nothing in terms of hard good that works. But that's why we're a diverse reseller team, and that when that doesn't work, I go to clothing and join her. And in terms of clothing, even then, like women's clothing is what's the most
concentrated.
Yeah, for us here. Like there's like probably almost twice as many racks of women's clothing than men's.
Yeah.
So let's talk about what platforms you guys sell on. How do you diversify your traffic online?
So we are on eBay, Poshmark, Mercari, Etsy, TradeZ, and Amazon.
Yeah.
And then the local platforms like OfferUp and Facebook Marketplace. And cross-listing, we cross-list on everything.
Mm-hmm.
Etsy is primarily vintage for us.
Mm-hmm.
Our higher ticket apparel will go on to TradeZ,
Mm-hmm.
but anything that we list on eBay will go on Poshmark and Mercari.
So before we get into how you break up your day, because I'm really excited to see how you guys do that. What's your process for ending an item? If it sells on one platform, how do you know which platforms it's sold on? And what do you do when, let's say, something sells on Poshmark?
Normally we'll text each other a high five emoji or something that we sold something or anything.
Mm-hmm.
And that way one of us will know, like, we got to go in and check, make sure we get things off. And I'll text her, or she'll text me, I got them. And that just lets me know that she went in and took care of taking down the listings.
But if something sells, for example, if something sells on eBay, then we deactivate the items on Poshmark and Mercari.
Mm-hmm.
We do offer free returns on eBay. So in the event that something does get returned to us, then we'll just reactivate on the other platforms. If something sells on, say, Mercari or Poshmark, where there's really no returns,
Mm-hmm.
then we delete it off the remaining platforms. But there's good communication between us. So one or the other will always get those listings off.
And what about the item location? Where do you put that?
We have a garage. Luckily, we have a decent sized garage,
Mm-hmm.
and everything is a bin system. And we
Mm-hmm.
actually adapted our system from one of your earliest videos where you were
Mm-hmm.
talking about the SKU system.
Mm-hmm.
So I did create SKUs for all our items, and they're in clear totes in chronological order, and they're in the garage for easy access.
Awesome. So I was gonna say, where on the listing, where do you put the location?
In the custom SKU for eBay.
Mm-hmm.
And then for Poshmark and Mercari, it just goes at the bottom of the item description.
Yeah, I know Poshmark recently came out with the space for the SKU, but
Mm-hmm.
really just out of habit and because the way Tiffany cross lists across the different platforms, it stays in the description.
Mhm.
So I actually have been, that's how I used to do it.
Yeah.
And sometimes I was lazy in ending the other platforms. So now I only put the location in custom SKU and I don't put it on Poshmark and Mercari. So
Oh,
if
okay.
it on Poshmark and Mercari, because I don't know where it is, I have to go to eBay, find out where it is, and then I make sure to end it on eBay because that's the most dangerous platform
Oh,
to
yeah.
have your metric fall. So now I'm trying to couple the habit of when I find out where it is, then remove it. But eBay always gets ended because it's the danger one, the danger zone.
Yeah.
So cool. So now I want to talk about how you guys plan your day, which is super exciting for me because you guys have a lot going on. You have other jobs. You also have to do a couple things. How you also are take care of yourselves. You guys do fitness and health stuff. What does the day look like? How do you do it?
Well, on a normal day, Mondays and Wednesdays, I'm in the office for my financial aid advisor position. So that's usually from 10 to 3 on Mondays and Wednesdays. And then he's teaching
Yeah,
at the school.
I'll do teaching from 1 to 3 normally those days.
But first thing, I guess, first thing in the morning, usually when we get up, then I go into eBay. He'll do shipping first thing in the morning. I go in and I end and relist 10 items on eBay. And then I make 10 listings go live before I head into my day job.
Yeah.
Then following school ending at 3, sometimes 3:30, we'll go to the gym for about an hour to an hour and a half. And then that's when we'll go to the thrift store, which is really nearby, and then head home, and then that's when we'll start doing our other jobs.
Yeah, and then since we do offer same day shipping, that's why first thing I do in the morning, I have an alarm that normally wakes me up by because I have the cutoff at 6 a.m. So I'll wake up at 6 a.m. and see anything I absolutely have to ship because it's sold overnight. So I'll take care of those in the morning. And same, go through our list, make sure everything that's sold is off the other platforms. But the only other difference there too is sometimes, depends on our schedule, is training.
Yeah, well, that's why I said Monday, Wednesday. So normally our Tuesday, Thursdays differ. I'm at school in the morning. He's at my family's restaurant.
Mm-hmm.
We'll meet up around 3:30 for the gym. And then we normally have clients from 4, it depends, sometimes 4 or 5. We have 2 to 3 clients on Tuesdays and Thursdays. And then we'll head home usually after 7.
Yeah,
Yeah.
give or take. Yeah. And then at night, what I like to do too is every night, whether it's Saturday night or Sunday night, Friday, whatever, I will ship any sales because I don't like to let things pile up
Mm.
just in case, because we do sell hard goods. So if we sell a big hard good, I need to take more time to ship. I don't want that to happen on a day that I've been sitting on a bunch of pending shipments. But also, from our experience and talking with other resellers, keeping activity on the platform, especially eBay, in terms of completing transactions by
Mm-hmm.
completing the shipping, it's just positive activity on the platform. So that's why we kind of feel like by taking care of shipping at night, it helps us wake up to offers and possible sales.
Yeah.
That's smart. I do think the algorithm maybe gets nervous if you have a lot of unshipped orders, because it's a computer, so it's guessing. So if it sees that everything is up to date, then it can continue to give you more traffic. That totally makes sense. So with these projects, do you look at it as, in a sense, do you like having multiple incomes? Would you want it to be more, would you trade it for like one bigger income, or what is the what, I guess talk to me about the balance of these different things.
Well, we're both happy with, even though it does sound like a lot,
Hmm.
Yeah.
the school that we both work at, it's the school where we both got our personal training diplomas from.
Hmm.
And so we enjoy the school, we enjoy working with the students we work with and getting them to transition into new careers.
Hmm.
And we both really enjoy fitness and being able to help other people get healthier and understand their bodies and all that stuff. It's
Hmm.
really fulfilling for us to do. Reselling, I mean, he really started it and then we built it up together, but I think we both really enjoy the process of it.
Yeah, I mean, we joke around, but I take care of shipping. But I actually really enjoy shipping from the
Hmm.
complicated to the simple stuff,
Hmm.
and I like the hard goods. And in terms of for her, she loves organizing stuff. So the idea of setting up a system was exciting for her.
Yeah, and then my family's restaurant, it's family,
It's
so
family, yeah.
we're gonna be there forever
Yeah, and each
That's
one of
awesome.
them is kind of like having a part time in all of them. So
Hmm.
in different things that we enjoy.
it's kind of, it's hard to get bored of it because I'll be at the restaurant for about 4 to 5 hours, and then a couple times a week, and then the school a few hours.
Yeah,
So it's always a change of scenery.
and I think having the variety of income allows for, in case of emergency,
Hmm.
if one job over the other, layoffs or anything like that, or we don't have a lot of clients, then we still have these other places to fall back on in terms of diversification. But it also allows us to be more flexible with our schedule,
Hmm.
because it's, whether it's the family job, we can change our hours.
Hmm.
Our training, it's reliant on,
What
whether or
we
not
make available.
exactly. And same goes for reselling, because reselling is done whenever we can.
Yeah. So with that in mind, we were able to travel a little bit more in the past. So when eBay Open came up, there was no
Hmm.
question if we were going to be able to make it. We knew we'd be able to make it. Just
Hmm.
put the funds aside because schedule wise, we can adjust.
Yeah.
We traveled to see reseller friends up in
Hmm.
Pacific Northwest.
Hmm.
And having the flexible schedule just allows us to do that.
Yeah.
I agree. I'm in the same boat. If you were super reliant on one big income, it's sort of like golden handcuffs. You have to really focus on that, and sometimes to the detriment of not being able to be flexible to go on a trip, you're at the mercy of them. But if you have multiple little projects, it's it's actually, I think, now feeling safer.
Yeah.
Teachers, are feeling somewhat safe because you can kind of do it from home, in the event that I mean, Zoom coaching is exploding right now. People don't want to they don't want to watch a class on YouTube for free. They want a person to yell at them live. It really does matter
Yeah.
having it. I've been doing Zoom, either Pilates or like boxing with my wife in the morning with her work crew. It's awesome. It's not quite as good as in person, but way
Yeah.
better than a YouTube video.
Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah. There's feedback. I mean,
There's feedback.
instant feedback. Yeah.
Hmm. And it's kind of like hanging out. And also, when you hang out with friends in person, you're not direct. And I think you can hang out with people more often virtually.
Oh, yeah.
Um, People's schedules are so busy.
I think we've seen some of our closest friends more often
Yeah.
on Zoom than we have had in person.
Yeah. And then we're also on social media, so we do live YouTube live. So we've
Hmm.
been connecting with friends from across the country. So yeah,
Yeah.
virtual meetings have been pretty awesome.
So you guys also make a lot of content, very entertaining content, I might add. Do you do that in between as a break during the day? Do you do it at night? How do you make all that awesome stuff?
So we kind of came up with a schedule for the content so that we knew how to plan our days.
Hmm.
So usually, like, we have a video that comes out Monday and Wednesday, depending on the kind of content. If it's just a haul, like an unboxing, then we might do all of them at the same time.
Hmm.
Uh, we'll normally film a haul Sunday night and then a what sold Tuesday night. And
Yeah.
then that's how we kind of plan for it so that we know, okay, Sunday at 8, we set aside whatever time we need to film that.
Yeah, and then Sunday night, while she goes on to continue reselling stuff, I'll go and edit and put all that together. And then in between that, we sprinkle other fun things we can figure out.
Yeah.
You guys very much sound like work-life integration. Not
Mhm.
necessarily, it's like all service oriented. So
Yeah.
it's kind of like just serving others, hanging out throughout the day. You're finding things other people might like to buy.
Hmm.
So I feel like it's been a long time since I've actually worked.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
And
same.
So it's interesting.
because we'll, we normally make a thrift store or sourcing day
Hmm.
a source and eat day, and we
Yeah.
plan around that. So, we'll visit like the Santa Monica area in LA County, but the day ahead we'll plan the different places we want to hit and run and take out, and then we'll find a local thrift store to that, and we'll Yelp new places, and we spend an entire day eating and thrifting.
So what does a perfect Saturday look like?
So normally Saturdays, so on the weekends we train clients as well.
Mhm.
I normally just have one on Saturday, so I'll try to fit them in either real late or early so we can have a long amount of time free. But say I didn't train him, we would probably go to what we call the west side of LA, which is out towards Santa Monica.
Pick up a coffee.
Yeah, pick up a coffee from a shop out there somewhere, maybe a pastry. Go to the first store for about an hour, hour and a half.
Yep, and then grab lunch.
Yeah, and normally it sounds funny, but we'll share one meal at a restaurant. But with them in mind, we're gonna probably hit like 3 restaurants so we can keep eating.
That's the
Yeah.
best idea ever. That's
Yeah.
I think it was like our ramen day. So like the West Side has a ton of ramen shops, and we had bookmarked, I think 4 or 5 different ones. So we started the day sharing a ramen, heading to our first store. If we were grabbing a coffee, heading to another store, went to another ramen restaurant, split a bowl there, and then we spent like the whole day doing that.
Yeah.
That's like this concept of one dish that I've heard where people go one dish, next restaurant, one dish. And I love it because I feel like it was an East Coast thing where people bar hopped because it was
Yeah.
so close, but it definitely, I feel like in cities, we do that as often as well too. And I love multiple restaurants in a day. It sounds like heaven. That's awesome.
Yeah.
I love it. Okay, so let's talk about productivity. Is there stuff that distracts you guys? What do you think you could reduce to make you guys maybe more productive or maybe more happy?
We're
think-
definitely multitaskers, that's for sure. And I know sometimes people think you can't do one thing completely well if you're doing more than one, but because I mean, even social media is
I think that might be the one thing that I like as we were getting more involved in social media, it was learning how to juggle that and not scroll on IG all day. Learning how to work while listening to our friends' YouTube videos versus trying to only watch it by itself and not do anything else. I think trying to juggle the social media aspect is probably where I would increase productivity if I wasn't scrolling on my phone.
Yeah, I think at first, since we've been growing our social media as well, we were responding to everything as things were coming in, messages. That takes a lot of time throughout the day. It's kind of like the concept of emails, answering emails every time they come in. So instead, we just do gaps of like, all right, I got 15 minutes. I'm going to go in and check the messages and answer. Or she'll tell me there's a message for you, and then I'll go check it later.
Or if I'm working, I will just put my phone on airplane mode so I don't see notifications, because that'll distract me seeing the screen light up. And then I'll want to check, did something sell, or is someone responding to a video or someone commenting on something, and then I'll lose time checking my phone.
Let's talk about where you want to take reselling next. Do you guys have any specific goals for the so-called next level of reselling for you guys? What's the next chapter look like?
Well, we've been growing our store in terms of number of listings, but one thing we've talked about many times is we don't want employees. We want to grow enough for us to still be able to handle it together.
Yeah.
So that's a key thing. And because again, to control costs and everything, we've adjusted in terms of not buying certain low low end items that sell for us, just to again save on space.
Hmm.
So I think for the future, really, we're just we would like to one day get to a liquidation palette and work with that. But that's a lot of inventory in one shot.
Yeah.
Do you guys have a listing goal for the week?
So actually for me, I do try to get in at least 10 fresh items on eBay and 10 relists on eBay. And then Poshmark and Mercari don't really have a goal. It's just whatever goes on eBay will go on those two. If it's, 10 that day or whatever it might be, those I don't really consider counting a certain amount of listings. We try to stay more consistent on eBay, but with 10 fresh listings a day as a minimum.
I think that of all the thousands of resellers I have met in the last 3 years doing this in person, I like the 50 to 100 items a week,
Mm-hmm.
best you can find model as a model, because
Yeah.
it's enjoyable. And I consider it the the golf of e-commerce, because you can do it as long as you are mobile,
Yeah.
you can do it forever. Guys could have this store for 50 years and
Mm-hmm.
it's enjoyable. Once you start pushing over 100, now you're dabbling with potentially employees, staff. You need a lot more space. But 50, it's different. 50 to 100 is also not a hobby, because
Yeah.
10 a
Yeah.
day is a significant investment. You need systems and inventory system, or it doesn't work. Um,
Yeah,
so
and
that's
I mean,
awesome. Go ahead.
we see that it helps us because when we get constant again in terms of the listings, because she does the clothing listings and we have a lot more clothing, so she really does the majority of the listings. But once we see those 10 new listings and 10 relists, we start seeing a lot more constant sales. Not necessarily all home runs, just multiple sales a day.
Yeah.
So it does help us, which is encouraging.
Do you guys have an idea of how much time goes into reselling each week?
I think what did we say? Like we estimated about 20,
Yeah, I mean,
15 to 20.
yeah, 15, 20 hours. But it's really hard to, I mean, I'm sure a lot of people can agree, because even if we're not working currently on eBay, right? Say I'm at the restaurant, if I get messages, I'm going to take care of them, which technically counts as me doing reselling.
Mm-hmm.
If we get an offer, so it's really hard to calculate all those hours.
Mm-hmm.
But sitting, listing, thrifting, I'd say about like 20 a week.
Yeah.
I even consider this reselling, because
Yeah.
when you're watching YouTube or talking to other resellers, it's related. I'm learning things from you. I'm taking notes. Figuring out the mix. So this is a question I like to ask, which is, let's say you guys only had 10 hours a week to resell. Maybe there was a boost in takeout service and the restaurant is now busier.
Mm-hmm.
You now have your time cut in half. What do you do with those 10 hours?
Just for reselling though.
Mm.
Yeah,
Um,
I think it would turn into probably try to get at least half of the 5 hours of a week, or 5 hours a week of thrifting,
Mm.
mhm.
to make sure we load up, and then the other 5 in the home. It's probably what
In
it would have to
processing.
be.
Yeah.
Yeah, processing. Because the beauty of that is if we can bulk, because we've gone through weeks where we'll go and like go to West LA, because when we go to West LA, we'll come back with a lot of inventory.
Mm-hmm.
And then we'll tell each other, okay, we can calm down on sourcing for a bit. So then we keep the rest the 2 weeks
Free
around.
from thrifting.
Yeah.
And then, I normally set aside Friday is my photographing day. I guess I should have said that earlier. Friday is the only day I don't go into the office. So I normally wake up early and I'll spend anywhere from 3 to 5 hours straight just photographing and batching all these items together so I can leave it by my desk. And then throughout the week, I have my items already photographed, bagged, and measured for easy access to getting a few listings up.
It's really a beautiful thing what you guys have, because you have also complementary skills. You're not both only sourcing or only shippers. So it's in a sense that maybe one of you would outsource something you don't like, but in this case, you happen to be married. So it's like
Yeah.
it's convenient. So let's just say if there was something that you wanted to outsource, what do you guys like the least? If I were to come help you guys for 10 hours, what would I be doing?
I hate cleaning
Yeah, you
shoes.
can clean shoes.
That's like
Yeah.
the favorite thing
Yeah.
like I will photograph, I will do bookkeeping, I will label, measure, and do all that. But I always leave shoe cleaning to the very end.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, weeks worth of shoe inventory, and then I still dread having to clean the shoes.
What about like stuffing them and staging them and making them look nice in photos? Do you
I mean,
consider that part of cleaning?
no.
No.
The photography part is the easy, quick part too for us in terms of the shoes. It's the cleaning.
Yeah.
I've gotten quotes as low as like 250 per pair,
Uh-huh.
but minimum 100 shoes at a time. So
Oh,
I guess you could drop off a big bulk, to get it cleaned if you
yeah.
really disliked it. But
Yeah.
it's almost like shoes are also like they're common to find, but
Mhm.
everybody knows that shoes you can build a healthy business only shoes.
Yeah. And we
Yeah.
follow resellers online who only do shoes,
Hmm.
and it's amazing to see what they're able to make of their business with only shoes.
So let's talk about an awesome flip, either high profit or really cool, something interesting. What have you guys sold that you think you could share?
Okay, I think our very first one that we will always remember because it's what really like at the very beginning of our reselling journey
Hmm.
was a broken um
Copenhagen fawn.
yeah. And it was like
It
the boy was riding a bear or fighting a
wrestling a
bear.
bear. I don't know. Apparently, it's a big thing. It's a big scene if you know the genre, or But
We
um,
were at the bins, our first ever bins trip, and he found this broken fawn, like the
the ear
was
or was
broken.
chipped. Yeah, and then I actually picked it up right before they dumped a bunch of stuff, so it would have been shattered.
Hmm.
But it cost like 70 cents for this item, and it
Hmm.
sold overnight for $80, which for
Wow.
us at the time was like, this is amazing. This is our biggest flip. And then
Hmm.
from there,
And that was early on. That was before GSP, or I mean, before I was well introduced into it. And that went to Italy overnight. And that
Wow.
was right overnight. I did my first international shipping and packed it up safe, and it got there. They gave us feedback in Italian, so I don't know what they said, but
yeah,
That's amazing.
positive.
I think that one's the most memorable because it was like the first big flip for us.
Hmm.
But we've had some big flips in terms of both hard goods and clothing. In the hard goods, I've sold a big model vintage
Boat.
boat. It was a battleship
Hmm.
that was never built. So the box was a little beat, but it was never built. So I had all the pieces. Sold that for about $700, and we had picked that up at the thrift store for like $30 or so.
Yeah, 39. Um, and then more recently, we sold a Dave Matthews Band autograph guitar
Mm.
for
Just
just over
shy,
500.
just shy of 600 with
Yeah,
shipping and all.
and that was a free item. Someone left it for us, like a friend didn't want it anymore and said, "Hey, I know you guys resell. Do you guys want this?"
Wow. That's awesome.
Yeah,
I
so those are
love
very memorable. And then even in clothing, like you found some vintage dead stock stuff that was great too.
Yeah, what was it that I found? Oh, I found like uh that I can't even remember the name of it now. That login look.
Oh,
Krista Larson.
yeah.
I saw this just tiny, and I mean, maybe 3 ounces. This shirt was 3 ounces.
Hmm.
I've never seen this brand before. It came new with tags, but it was like a handmade tag. We
Hmm.
picked it up for $3, and I think it took 2 weeks to sell, and it sold for 150.
That's insane.
And it was just this obscure
Yeah. So
brand.
we're constantly learning because I'm far from fashionable.
Hmm.
So I'm learning brands as we go.
Yeah.
I mean, I think about this versus like, let's say a restaurant. A third of the cost is the food. You have the building. There's a lot of people that work there. And they don't have any there's no home run food item. You
No,
know, you,
everything's
you,
the
you,
same price.
the margins are all similar. You're in a competitive area. There's all those restaurants around you. And then you compare that with reselling. There are no brick and mortar stores that buy something for $1 and sell for 150 ever. They might be
Yeah.
open forever. And if you resell and consistently go, almost every week you're going to find something over 50.
Hmm.
And that just doesn't exist in anything else. It's really interesting.
Yeah.
I want to touch base on your guys' reseller crew. Okay, because you guys have a tight community. Do you look at it in I guess, how do you manage that? There's a lot of people who look to you guys are very friendly, awesome in person. You're the same in person as you are online. So how do you manage meetups or hanging out? How do you balance those new friendships?
Well, because we're active on social media, then
Mhm,
we'll watch people's stories and we'll comment, and we do, direct messages with a lot of our friends.
mhm,
And most of, I think, our reseller friends are all across the states.
mhm.
Um, and we've had a few when they do come to LA to visit. We have a spare room here, so we've had a few of them come and
Hmm.
stay at our
Yeah.
Airbnb.
Yeah, they stay with us for a few
Um,
days, and if we can, again, thanks to flexible schedules in all our jobs that we have, we'll try to adjust to go thrifting together.
Amazing.
And I mean, it's still working. They're profiting, we're profiting, and we get to talk shop.
yeah, and any of the reseller meetups, we will plan ahead and book it in our planners, and
Mhm,
then set aside time to try and visit Posh and Sips,
mhm,
Posh Fest, eBay Open,
mhm.
Yeah,
eBay Upfront. We try to stay active in the community so that we're aware of what is going to happen around us, so that we can book aside time to make sure that we can attend.
yeah. And then we still book things around it because we had a Posh Live in Orange County, and afterwards we were at Ross doing
Sourcing with Pure
sourcing.
Hustle
Yeah.
Podcast.
So I mean, we manage things around it.
Yeah.
That's amazing. Yeah, and also I want to ask you. So let's say you go source together. Do you learn a lot from looking in their cart? Because people are
Yeah,
sourcing
we
different
do.
things.
Yeah. Well, so, with Orlando from Pure Hustle Podcast,
Mhm,
he's the one that introduced us to Amazon FBA.
mhm,
And he's the one who guided us on how to start it, and how to look up items, and how to read Keepa, and how to read the rankings, because that was all new to me. I had
Yeah,
no idea how, I didn't understand the ranking. And, the higher the number, the lower the ranking. And
mhm.
he was teaching us all this stuff. And so when we're outsourcing, that's where we learned, things were gated or ungated, and we could see what he was able to pick up because he's ungated in so much, and seeing this is what we can work towards.
yeah, it was encouraging. And then outside of Amazon, with other friends who are out thrifting, we've learned different brands that for us we don't see, and part of it is location. So we have friends that are in,
Vintage sellers
yeah,
in Portland,
yeah, in Portland. They get a variety of different vintage pieces, which we
Mhm,
don't always see in LA. And
sourcing with our friends up there. Chrissy from Reseller Revolution,
mhm,
she was showing us how to feel the different fabrics and the kind of collars and the sleeves, the print, what to look for,
mhm,
how to distinguish tags. Um, so shopping with resellers is less of a competition.
mhm.
It's a time for us to actually learn from other people, because they're selling a variety of things.
yeah,
That is, I always like to end these interviews with my favorite thing that I learned from, and that is the best tip, which is get a reseller friend. If you have one friend that can show you how to do an FBA shipment, then you don't need to panic. You
Mhm.
could buy the best course in the world and still be confused. Somebody can go through it with you in person. You can watch them do it. I remember when I first started, I saw a reseller I really liked locally, and I'm like, hey, if I buy you breakfast, lunch, and dinner, can I spend the whole day with you and just see what you do? And
Yeah,
he agreed. And I watched him show me in Marshall's, TJ Maxx, Ross. We did all of those. He showed me how to look for gift cards. Um, he wouldn't even let me pay for lunch because resellers are nice for the most part. So you
yeah,
go through and you learn how they do things. And in person, when you meet, it's so different. When you watch people actually do it. Um, there's a gentleman I went out with that his store has $100 ASP, only men's suits, and this the actual skill of pulling open the suit jacket, feeling the material in like 3 movements, he can see where it's made, what brand it is, what material is it. He can name it as he's going, wool, linen, just as he's going. It's amazing. And we went to 8 stores. He only picked up 2 items, and I was thinking, there's people that are this level of picky, like
mhm.
$50 profit, waste of time.
yeah.
Just really focused. And then when you're like that, also your day might be 8 hours of driving.
Yeah.
if you're in that level of pickiness. So you get to learn, what people, if they like to listen to alien podcasts, you really get to know people because it's like a lot of driving and hanging out by yourself. Also, reselling it can be lonely.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think that's why we also go back to the multiple streams that we have, along with social media as part of it. Is we get, like, as trainers, we do one-on-one training, so we are with someone and we talk about their day. We share our reselling experience with them,
Mhm.
and yeah, it gives you a moment of interaction.
Wow, that is a lot of information. Thank you guys so much for sharing all of that with me. And the way that you guys plan your day really is incredible. That's a full work-life integration. You guys are fitting in. You have scheduled photography time. You're doing it when you can. It's
Mhm.
it's almost, it kind of sounds like to me like these what similar to when people have kids. Like each one of these is a little project that you guys have squeezed in so much. You also do the social media, which is another source of income in the future potentially.
Yeah.
So that's like amazing. So if people want to reach out to you and get more information from you guys, what's the best way for them to reach you again?
I think on Instagram, sell quick, ship quick, and it's all one word. And we're usually really good about answering all our DMs. And that's, I
Yeah,
think, where we communicate the best with
the
everyone
quickest. Yeah, and I mean, we could always same on comments and stuff on YouTube, but yeah, the most direct way.
would be Instagram.
I want to commend you guys before I end this call on how intentional you are. You guys have designed your life. You've picked different projects you want to work on, who you want to hang out with. It's not a reactive situation. You have picked all these different pieces that are in your life. That's awesome. It's very inspirational. And thank you again. And thank you everyone for listening. Until next time, make progress daily.
Thank you.